Right, what we've got here is a very large piece of watercolour paper, 5 foot by 4 foot. And what I'm going to do is make a forest using Indian ink and carbon ink, and a variety of styles which you'll see in a minute. And I'm wearing my Endless Joy shirt. My friend's Endless Joy made this, so it's going to end up looking a bit like this. So it'll be a dense forest, and at this moment, this is when you think, oh, I'm going to have to start, because it's quite nerve-wracking. Anyway, let's start. So, starting off with a weak wash, because if you look through a forest, the trees in the distance are paler. So we want a nice weak wash. So I've got some of this Chinese ink here, and I'm going to put a fair amount in there, but I want it to be really weak. So I'm going to put some water in there, and we'll just see how it goes. That should be fairly, it looks quite dark now, but it'll be weak when it goes on. So the first initial, I'm going to do the base of the forest here. I'll just whack it on like that, and then bring up some of those trees in the background. This is a kind of, don't know what sort of forest you'd call it, but these will end up quite pale, and using a spray gun I'll get the effect of leaves coming out of it. So a bit more of that in there. And you see those leaves starting to appear. And these will be quite far in the background. You've got to be a bit careful about how much water you put on, because you don't want to drench it. Just want it to bleed into the grain. And then of course you got a lot of foliage and stuff down the bottom, so use the same technique and it'll create bushes. And it's kind of abstract because forests are abstract, so you've got to kind of bear that in mind. You can do it on a smaller piece of paper if you want to try it at home. It doesn't have to be this big. What I've done here is got a load, well, I don't know if it's off some plant in the garden. You use reeds, twigs or whatever, and I've taped them together, and you use that to make marks, which, I mean, don't be precious about it. They might look a bit wrong, but it doesn't matter because they'll end up looking right. Mess about with them till you get branches. I don't really know what I'm doing really with this brush event, but it's quite good fun. You can see that drying now, and it's drying a pale grey. But what I am going to do is just fill in a bit of this bottom scrubby area, and that'll give a little bit of light and shade, a bit of value in there. If you do it on a cold day, you'll be here for a long time. You can do this in another way, which you just let the ink drip down and see where it goes, but you're in less control then. And you get little areas which will surprise you. If you look down there, there's light coming through, and it looks like it's bouncing off the bark of the trees. So you get like little patches of light. You never really know what's going to happen. See a bit of light shining through there, so sunlight's getting through these areas. I'm going to leave that to dry for a bit. A couple of minutes and it'll be dry, ready for the next level. The spray has picked out little what it's done is it's gone into the grain, which is why if you use too much, it'll soak right into the grain. If you use a little enough, you'll be able to see like this light shining through the leaves. With a spray you can get this kind of effect, and it sort of goes where the water goes. What you're doing is trying to control water. So you're actually like King Canute, who tried to turn the tide back and failed. But what you can do, you can't control water, but well, you can actually. What you can do is you make it your friend, and if you understand it enough, you know where it's going to go, and you can sort of say to the water, why don't you go over there? Just drift over there, and it'll follow the patterns. It's like when you're spraying. If you spray, it's going to come out in globules, and then the water will join up with each other. It's all science. They'll join up with each other, and then when you put the ink on, it'll follow the rivers, same way as it does in geography. So you kind of understanding it and kind of controlling it, but then there's a whole majority of it is random, and you don't know what it's going to do, which is the fun of it, really. Right, the heavier wash. Now I still use the Chinese ink. I think it's made out of pine cones, Chinese ink, or pine kernels or something. It's different to Indian ink, but I like it more. It's blacker, I think. Stick it on pure and see what happens, because I'm going to put the carbon ink on last, which is a lot denser. So that's the background. That's the trees in the distance. Now I'm going to do the middle ground trees. So I'll start off with, I'll go a bit more gentle, because I'm going to finish that off later. And you can see those leaves starting to appear, so I'm going to encourage it to go over there. You've got to be careful with the water. You've got to get just about the right amount. It's really good fun to watch it, actually. Like I say to people, I actually like watching paint dry. I don't find it boring at all. And get some of this undergrowth going. It is a pine forest, isn't it? You can start to see that now. You want your eye to lead into the middle section. Leave that all white. So if you look at it now, you see that side versus that side, and that side looks more foresty now because it's got that middle ground coming through. I made that little brush out of a bit of bamboo. I just split it, stuffed a bit of gaffer tape in it, and then you just drag that around. It's the same as the other thing. You get some branches in there. But don't be precious with it. It's a forest. And you got a bit of definition there because it hasn't got the water on it, so now you get effects like this coming through. The ink is drying, and it's drying quicker in certain places, and it will look like light shining through. Right, now we're going to leave that to dry. So I'll take that out into the sun. As I dragged it out, just a few drips that I can control. Do you recognise that forest?
Do I recognise the forest?
Well, we've been in ones like that.
Perry Woods.
It is a bit. Well, it's kind of pine trees, isn't it?
Mm. It's great. What are you doing? You're going for it?
No, well, you control it a bit, but there's all sorts of things. Spray guns,
Yeah.
little twigs and sticks and things.
Do a bit now.
I'm waiting for it to dry now.
Oh, it's going to dry quick.
I'm going to put another bit on, some heavy carbon ink.
What paint are you using for that?
It's Chinese ink.
I was going to say, do you know what it reminded me of? You know when we did the bird show
Yeah.
in Scotland? And
Well, yeah, we did it there.
Yeah.
But that was just letting it drip.
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
And it wasn't on this scale.
That looks really good. Yay!
You can see bits of light coming through now, can't you? Right. Okay, for the final, trees at the front. It's pretty good like that. I don't want to do too much to it, but I've got this carbon ink, which is great. And it's quite granular, so, and it's very black. So this can do things that other inks can't. I think I'll go, as I don't want to go too much because I kind of like it like it is. But I'm going to just go straight out of here. These ones are right up front. Give it a bit of depth on these trees maybe. Don't really want to put any more carbon ink on it because I like it like it is. So I'm going to take it out into the sun. I mean, it should be just about done, I think. The last one I did of this scale, I put a black woodpecker on it because I thought it looks like a kind of, when I was in Finland I was looking at black woodpeckers and the forests kind of look like that with a grey misty light, sort of watery light coming through. I want to put on a black woodpecker because it reminds me of that scene. But I was going to do the black silhouette of the black woodpecker just flying through that clearing in the middle. Right, well that's looking good, and that looks like a forest in Finland. Could be in Britain, but I'm going to say Finland because I'm going to put on it a black woodpecker. It's a little bit damp there, so I'm going to put that on and I'm going to lie on it. And I'm going to paint it freestyle in carbon ink. I think I'm going to put it just in there, going through from that tree over to there. So change my specs over. Now I can see close up. So I'm going to paint freehand in the Chinese way and just hope that it actually works. I'll do that tail first, I think. I wouldn't normally do this. I'd usually plan it out and draw it out first. So this is kind of very loose. Oh, that's not bad though. There we are, black woodpecker. Just going between the trees. And there it is. It's a black woodpecker in the forests of Finland, with the light shining behind it as it crosses from one tree to another.